Good Erev Shabbos, everyone. Erev Shabbos, Parshas Ki Sisah, Parshas Para. There is so much to say. I think I'm going to split and send two videos. One thought on a practical thought on the Parsha, and the second I want to send just a thought about what's going on. I don't want it to be a very long video, so I'm going to do. I'll probably send two, though that's a challenge in itself. Nobody wants to listen to two things, but I'll try to keep both of them a little bit short. Reika Rasi B'Shem, Torah says that, come and see, I have called by name, designating Bitzalo ben Uri ben Chur Mati Yehuda as the one who's going to do the artisanship and the building, the actual building, leading the project of the building of the Mishkan. Re'ei means look at something. I want you to pay attention to this. What do I have to pay? Reika Rasi B'Shem, I called him by name. What am I paying attention to? That it's this guy B'Tzalel. So Hashem gave him something special. He was able to build. He filled his mind, he filled his heart with something, with an ability to be able to do something. What am I looking at here? What's the incredible thing here? Rei Karasi B'Shem, I've called by name. So I think that Kadosh Baruch Hu is trying to tell us in the Torah that we have to look at names, because we know that a person has four names. A person has a name that Kadosh Baruch Hu gives him. A person has a name that his parents give him. A person has a name that his friends give him. And then you have the Shem Tov, the name that you acquire for yourself through your actions, through your life. The thing that people know you about, the stuff they say about you at your Levaya, the stuff they say about you, about your Shiva. The stuff that was apparent but not so apparent. The stuff that peels away the actions and gets to the very essence of the person. That's the Shem Tov. That's the good name that a person has. And the truth is that the name that Hashem gives you is really the name of your neshama. That's really identifying what kind of neshama you have. The name your parents give you. So that's really where you're coming from, what your history is, who your parents are, how you were brought up. The name that your friends give you is the stuff that you learned on the street, the stuff you learned with your friends, you learned from your society, your environment, from your surroundings. But the Shem Tov, that's really you. Because the name that God gave you, the name your parents gave you, the name your friends gave you, those are names that indicate the kind of potential that you have. HaKadosh Baruch Hu has inured you with this kind of potential. Your parents have given you this kind of potential. Your friends have helped you along, but it's all about potential. Comes along you, and you take all that potential, and you do something amazing with that potential. Wow, that's something to celebrate. Rei Karasi B'Shem. I called him by name. I gave him names. His parents gave him names. He had a lot of latent talents. He had a lot of potentials. But you know why Betzalel was so amazing? Because Betzalel was able to take those potentials and turn them into something real. And that's a huge thing. You know, we talk on Ne'ilah of Yom Kippur. We center it around. You have to imagine, like, we're sort of towards the end of the day. What are we gonna say now? God, you know, we said we were sorry. We did vidu. We did everything. So now we say to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. We said, "Mal nechtam me'oshek yadeinu." There's a lot of different pshatim, a lot of different explanations of what that means. To hold us back from oshek yadeinu, from thievery, from stealing, really. But I got so many other problems. Stealing is like a minor thing, and for many people, you never steal. People are careful. So what does it mean that we focus Yom Kippur, we focus Ne'ilah, the chitum, the whole end of it. We're going L'man nechtam me'oshek yadeinu. We say it over multiple times. Because when you have tremendous potential and you don't use that potential, you're stealing. You're taking away, you're misusing that incredible potential. God put it into you for something. He gave you that ability to be able to do something. And when you sit around and you do nothing with it, that's oshek yadeinu. That's like thievery. You know, Kadosh Baruch Hu got upset with Moshe Rabbeinu. And we give all kinds of pshatim of why God got upset with him by the rock. And the Torah tells us very clearly, if you look at it carefully, the Torah says, Yan lo yamanti bi lahaktisheni. You didn't believe in me to sanctify my name. Well, do me a favor. I didn't do it your way. I did it this way. But Lamaisa, I still did a Kiddush Hashem. Water came out of a rock. That was still a big thing. No. I wanted it to be done in a certain way, and I gave you the potential to be able to do it that way. And what you did was you wasted that potential. And that's what a Kodesh Baruch Hu got upset about. Lo amanta milah hakdisheni, to do it this way. You didn't push yourself, and you didn't find that place inside of you to be able to bring out that potential that it put inside of you to overcome this challenge and to be able to do this. You didn't do that, and that was a tragedy. That was a tragedy because at the end of the day, losing an opportunity to be able to bring out our potential, that's a terrible thing. But why is it so bad? Because at the end of the day, it shows you don't care. And when we don't care, usually it's because we don't understand. And that we didn't invest the time to understand who am I, what am I, what do I have to do, what am I here for, what am I meant to be doing. After 120, a person dies, the Kodesh Baruch Hu shows him a picture. He gets up there, looks at the picture, and says to Kodesh Baruch Hu, who's that? He's going to say, that's you, that's me. This is what you could have been. That if you would have used all your potential, this is what you could have looked like. That's a tragedy. That's heartbreaking. You know, it says that if you do something, things are going bad in your life. Mefashvesh masov, you have to look at your actions. You have to introspect. You have to analyze. Why could this be happening to me? And if you can't find an Avera that you can pin it on, oh, it's because it is, because it is, because it is, then pin it on Bittul Torah. That sounds like such a yeshivish thing to say. You know why? You know why things are bad happening to you? Because you're being mevatel Torah. Come on, everything? It's because I'm mevatel Torah? Yeah, because you know what Bittul Torah is? Bittul Torah is not wasting time from the study of Torah. Bittul Torah is missing opportunities and wasting your potential. That's a tragedy. When we talk about Relezim and Chasam and Chisma, we talk about Hill, we talk about Yosef. When a person dies, he goes up to Shemaim, and he says, I couldn't learn Torah because I was impoverished. Were you more impoverished than Hill? Because he did a fine job. And you say, I had big tivus, I had big desires, I was into my pleasures. Did you have a bigger taiva than Yosef? Because he did a good job. And you to do and say, Reb Lezman Chisma, that I couldn't learn Rabbi. God, I was so, I was wealthy. I had to worry about my nechasim. Were you richer than Reb Lezman Chisma? Because he was phenomenally, sickly wealthy, and he did a good job. What are we asking? Why are we holding those three up as a paradigm to say to me that if you know, did you have a rough life like them? Because if not, then you should have been doing it. Because what's being told to us is that we have potential, an incredible potential to be able to overcome our challenges. We can overcome the challenge of Titus, Yosef. We can overcome the challenge of poverty, Hillel. We can overcome the challenge of wealth, Blezman Chismo. And that were brought three paradigms of people that overcame their challenges. And where did they learn? I learned from them how to overcome my challenges. Where did they learn to overcome the challenges? They looked inside themselves and they said, we have better potential than this. We have better kaiches than this. We could push ourselves beyond the norm. We don't have to follow what everybody else is doing. We can push ourselves beyond the limitations. They recognized their potential and they lived up to their potential. Re'eh karasi b'shem. Look at the name, at the potential that I gave to Betzalel, and look what he did with that potential. Do that in your life. Don't be afraid of recognizing what your potential is. Don't be afraid of looking at yourself and saying, I've got koiches. I've got capabilities. I've got talents. I've got things that I could do. And then reach inside and pull those out and do something amazing with them. Life is not about what potentials you've been given. Re'ei karasi b'shem. Look at the potentials I gave and look what he did with them. Look what he built with them. Look what he accomplished with them. And that's the way I want you to live your life. That's why I want him to be your paradigm, says HaKadosh Baruch Hu to his people. I want you to read this every year and pay attention to this. I want you to see what it means and what you can accomplish when you recognize your potential and you do something awesome with it. Have an incredibly beautiful and awesome Shabbos.